So next match we got here is Becky Lynch, the current Intercontinental Champion, going up against AJ Lee. Which that's what brought me back to WWE was AJ Lee, and so at the beginning we got little spots here and there. AJ got her in a painful looking submission move that Becky got out of, and Becky dominated the match a bit in the beginning. AJ managed to slam Becky with a jumping bulldog. That looked pretty cool. There was a tornado DDT off the ropes and a shining wizard. But despite all that stuff, Becky still kicked out. And then Becky started to expose the steel off the turnbuckle, obviously with plans to slam AJ into it sometime during the match. Becky superplexes AJ off the ropes and does an armbar on AJ, but she still gets away from that. She still avoids that. The referee notices that the padding was taken off, so while she was busy putting the padding back on or whatever, Becky shoves AJ into the ref, tries to get her for a roll up, but AJ still kicks out. So Becky accidentally kicks the ref out, and while she's knocked out, AJ gets her in the Black Widow submission move, and Becky actually taps, but the referee doesn't see it because she's still down and out and everything. And we were saying this wouldn't have happened if we had Audrey in there, But anyways, since the rep is still out, Becky gets a steel chair. Becky tries to plant AJ onto the chair with the DDT. No, actually she does. Yeah, she does plant AJ on the chair, and she does the manhandle slam and pins her. By now the referee is back up and everything, but by the time she gets there, AJ can still kick out. So Becky was going to slam AJ into the exposed turnbuckle, but the referee gets in there and stops. Hey, whoa, what the hell? That kind of stuff. And then what happens is that it was still exposed because the referee never got to fully cover it up. So Becky charges towards AJ. AJ gets out of the way, and Becky accidentally leaps face first into the still exposed turnbuckle. And with that, AJ does the Black Widow on her, makes her tap, and AJ Lee is the brand new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. And of course, me and Wendy, we were all for it and everything. Because the thing is, with this event taking place in Chicago, and the CM Punk and AJ Lee thing, I was having doubts, and of course we'll get into that when we get into that, but I was having doubts. I was like, nah, they're going to have them both win. That's just too much on the nose. And I'm kind of thinking, CM Punk just has to win his match because, CM Punk is Chicago, so I was afraid, hey, AJ's going to probably lose because one of them's got to lose, you know what I mean? So AJ won, and we were still kind of like, so does that mean that CM Punk's going to lose in his hometown? So it was kind of, we had those thoughts. We were kind of like celebrating that she won, but also having doubts about the next match. And like I said, we'll get there when we get there. One thing I do want to follow up on is of course, fake social media. It's a work and all that stuff. But Becky had apparently some legal form or something wanting to complain against the referee because the referee says interfere in her matches too many times, and this particular time it even cost her the title. She wants to, I guess, sue her or whatever. So we'll see how that plays into the story and everything. Because again, people are complaining, but it's a work, guys. Chill. You know what I mean? Chill. But what are your thoughts, guys?
So for me, I loved it. I absolutely love the fact that AJ won. She's gotten way better. You could tell her training has gotten top notch as far as her abilities. She's gotten way better than she was. I really truly do not think people realize just how long it's been since AJ's had a straight up singles match or even fought for a belt. To the point where I explain this to people, I'm like, when AJ wrestled, there was no women's Hell in a Cell. There was no women's Elimination Chamber. There was never even a women's ladder match before her when she was wrestling. So I'm like, that's the women's Royal Rumble, the progress that she helped create. And I explained this to my girlfriend because my girlfriend's getting into watching wrestling with me and stuff, and I was explaining her it was crazy because I'm also like, this is how long it's been since AJ won a belt. This is the first time she's ever getting side plates and it was just a crazy thing to see her get a title, her beating Becky. Honestly, to be fair, Becky, you could tell Becky has really lost a lot of steps after she had her kid. Nothing against her having a kid. It's just it felt like, because she was when her daughter got older, she started spending more time at home. And the problem with it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, yes, you get more time to spend at home, but you can't. It's funny you brought up the Goku, the brought up that Goku thing. It's literally she almost turned into it's like a Gohan thing. It's all like, it's like, well, you could go to train, but you gotta study. It's like, no, well, yeah, but you're compromising your training. It's like that kind of thing. So it's kind of like that kind of feeling I feel about with Becky and a lot of these other women. I think also AJ can help elevate that belt. And honestly, it's pretty obvious they're going to build up to something with her at WrestleMania.
Yeah. The one thing
As
I
long
want
as they keep Nikki Bella the fuck away from it, I'll be happy.
Because that is the thing, though. One of the things I really wanted with AJ Lee with her return is I really wanted her to face these newer generation people that weren't really around when she was around. And I guess technically speaking, Becky Lynch wasn't around. But yeah, like you said, let's not waste time with fucking Nikki Bella, which I'm afraid of because they did have a lot of matches back in the day. There could be a return to that or some bullshit, but I really hope not. And I do
Yeah.
hope that eventually AJ does become parts of Royal Rumbles and
Oh,
Elimination
yeah.
Chamber, stuff like that, so she could more intermix with the Tiffany Strattons and the Kiana James and all them of the
Yeah.
world,
I want to see her have a match with like Lyra Valkyria or her have a match with there's a lot of women I would love to see her versus Asuka. That's never happened before.
Yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah.
match.
She's never fought Asuka. She's never fought Kyrie. She's never fought. Like I'm thinking of like the roster. It's crazy how many women have never fought her. Like Rhea's never fought her either. Like half of these women, the only one I could think that's still on the active roster who actually has a history with her, other than I guess Nikki Bella, is Bayley.
Yeah.
Charlotte never even fought her.
I don't remember when did Bayley ever wrestle AJ Lee?
Her gimmick came from AJ, so like she's the one who helped her create that character. So it's like it's kind of interesting. Like they could play off that history. I also heard a rumor, which if this is true, I'd be so happy. Which is that, and if that happens, I'm gonna blow my mind, especially if I'm gonna be there. Is that at some point AJ is going to show up after the Raw after Mania talking whether or not she wins the title or not, and then that will kick the doors in for the return of Paige, which if that happens, I'll be like, I'll take all my money.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. I think DJF will probably book some flights over there to go see that, most likely.
To go. And it's like, I need to get in the car now. But no, I mean that's a whole other thing. But as far as the match itself was concerned, I liked it. I thought it was really well. You also have to factor in the fact that AJ has not had a singles match in 13 years. And considering
she mentioned that in her socials too, a couple of days before the event.
Yeah, considering that fact, it's so impressive how well she did. Like, really. I mean, and then people go, well, yeah, but when Punk came back, he had a great match. I'm like, yeah, but he had like a stint in AEW. AJ has not been in the ring physically except for like a couple of moments in the show Heels. She hasn't actually had an actual match.
She ran women's wrestling for a while, but she never actually got in the ring or nothing.
Never got in the ring. She was on commentary. But that's the whole point. I'm saying, I'm like, I'm so happy that like I said, I got to meet her. I'm so happy I got the opportunity to, see her and stuff. And I'm so happy that that the kids who grew up, the kids love her now. Like these little kids love her in the same way that I did when I first saw her. And it's cool because she has inspired so many women's wrestling, her and Paige and all of them. Like they really did change women's wrestling. And people really, really don't understand how backwards ass the old school wrestling of women were. Like everything was bra and panties matches and mud wrestling and this and that.
Such good shit.
I mean, there's a reason we used to call them, unfortunately, toilet break matches because we literally
bathroom break match.
Bathroom break match, yep. That's literally what they were, and that's sad. But now We're in an era where the women's matches are better than half of the most of the men's matches. Anyway,
Yeah.
what'd you think? What'd you think, Johnny?
I like the match. It's nice to see AJ Lee back in action. I didn't really follow WWE like that in that time era when AJ Lee was in there, but I heard a lot of good things about her. So just seeing her in action, I could see why she was probably one of the greatest women's wrestlers in that time period, and even right now. And I was gonna say AEW bloopers at WWE, and yeah, this match was very good and it was very intense. You could see there's like a lot of tension between Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Like this looks like this is the match that it had to happen. They can't wait to beat each other up, and I like the suspense of the unfortunateness of the female referee getting knocked down. And that allows a lot of cheating to happen here and there, but in the end, it was so good that AJ Lee was so able to win the match. Oh, and then one thing I forgot to mention at the very earlier match, the elimination chamber match. This match is also interesting because Rhea Ripley is gonna now fight against Jade Cargill. So that's gonna be quite a good match to see, in my opinion.
Panda.
Yeah, I like the match.
Yeah, overall, it was a really good match. Just a couple of pointers that I want to bring out. For one, yeah, it was a good match, but I think a lot of the audience is just, even from over the years, they're just tired of Becky Lynch. And the only reason why I say this, and this isn't the whole, face versus heel type thing. I mean, it seems like they're legitimately tired of her. And I brought this up to Jack last night. I noticed that when AJ Lee came out, the fans were cheering and everything, and you actually heard chants and everything as she was coming to the ring. But when Becky came out, you didn't hear anything. You didn't even hear boos. It was just quiet. I'm talking like old school New Japan quiet when she was coming to the ring. Like if you listen back to the audio, one thing you shouldn't actually hear is the click from the pyrotechnics as they're about to go off. You can literally hear the click from the pyros just as they're going off behind Becky, which means it was dead silent in there. I think like the fans are really just getting tired of her. I don't know whether it's just her character or her in general, but it seems like overall they're just done. Now, as far as the match goes, it was a fantastic match. It was great to see AJ Lee, and she's definitely improved. Even in that 10-year gap, like the matter of improvements from when she was gone 10 years ago to now is just amazing. And I agree with Jack. I'd like to see her, further go with against other wrestlers like Asuka, Io Sky, and everything. Because literally, if you think about it, these are the monsters that she created because she literally brought actual female wrestling to the forefront. It wasn't any more of the stupid diva gimmicks and the bra and panties and mud wrestling matches. She actually proved that yes, we have a women's division. It can be a legitimate division with legitimate wrestlers. And now here it is. She's literally coming back 10 years later to face those same monsters that she created. I'm more than happy for it. Back to the match, though. It was still a pretty good match. Referee took a couple of good bumps. It's almost like she's a professional wrestler herself. But that's for another, whole segment later. But yeah, overall, it was a good match. It was kind of suspenseful. I thought she was gonna lose it there after the ref had gotten knocked out, but when she kicked out of the DDT from the chair, I was like, okay, yeah, she's gonna win this one. Which also had me thinking the same way you did, Mark. I was like, well, if she won this, is Punk gonna lose? What's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
But,
And then the other thing, they would have booed the fucking house down if Becky won.
Oh no, in Chicago, they would have probably freaking rioted. It would have been a freaking riot. But
Yeah.
overall, good match.
And that's one of the things I was also saying back in the day. And I'm sure I said it before, either in this podcast or my older WWE podcast. Oh, you got the Liquid Death thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. But whenever they brought in like Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky, and they were like more, like actual wrestlers now, instead of like the divas and all them, I was like, oh man, why did AJ leave now? Like this is like when it's becoming like more like real wrestling. They got rid of the divas title. It was not actually called the women's titles. Like this is what AJ's missing out, because I knew from her interviews and stuff that she likes actual wrestling and matches and stuff, and she's like gone now. So I'm
Yeah,
glad she came back.
Yeah, because if you know, the wrestling history behind it was literally because of AJ. The women's division was elevated to the point where they allowed them to actually wrestle. Because at the time when AJ was at the top of the women's division, what was WWE doing? They were pushing that Total Divas crap and all this like posh shit. And she cut this amazing. Well, it's the pipe bomb before the pipe bomb. If you ever watch it, she fucking roasts them. But the thing about it is that they kept cutting the women's TV time, like the actual wrestling, to focus more on commercials about Total Divas. And she got pissed, like legitimately. Whereas in NXT, they were slowly building a little bit of something. And so she would leave the main roster to come wrestle on NXT here and there. But the thing of it is, like, she started this whole thing on what was it? It was literally a fuck you to Stephanie. That's how it started. It started to Stephanie going like, oh, it's women's month, and no, we should respect women. She's like, why don't you start respecting the people that work under you? Hashtag give divas a chance. And that's what jump started everyone going hashtag give divas a chance. And you start seeing it in signs in arenas, and all this shit just.
But there was the other event too. There was the other event. I don't know what was the thing, but I guess they randomly tagged Paige with Emma, and they had a match against the Bellas. And I think Emma got accidentally knocked out of the ring, and they pinned Saraya. Well, Paige, and it was like a 3-second match. And AJ, despite no longer being with the company at that time, she still tweeted like, "Wow, guys, a 3-second match, a 3-second women's match in a 3-hour show. Hashtag give us a chance." And that also helped,
Yeah, she started the flames of the fire, but the thing of it is, because they knew how good they were training them how to do, like, Paige and AJ were trained by women. Like, a little context with women's wrestling, even to this day, only recently, like I don't want to say in the last 6 years, did wrestling schools actually want to train women, because they don't want to train women because they still have this weird misogynistic notion of women are delicate little flowers who cannot dare get on the top rope. Oh, what if there's no pot roast up there? What are they going to do? Like, it's like, God, you guys are idiots. And then, like, I remember, but that's why Booker T is so respected by women's wrestling, because he literally was like, can they take a bump? Yep. All right, get in the ring. Like, he didn't give a shit. But like I said, this is the thing is, AJ was trained by Jay Lethal, because she was dating him at the time. She was trained by Jay Lethal. Becky Lynch was trained by Finn Balor. Paige was trained by her parents. Friggin' Lita was trained in Mexico, because no one in America would train her how to wrestle. So like all these women actually learned from legit wrestling, and they, to the point where when they started training women's wrestling in NXT, they didn't have any female trainers, because they didn't know, oh, wait, we don't know how to train women. And then it wasn't until they hired, I forgot her name. I just forgot her name. But there was a female wrestler on the indies, and she started being a head trainer, that they actually go, oh, that's how you do it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you just do the same thing. You just just do the same thing, but a little slower. That's all. It's so stupid, but I'm like, you'd think it wouldn't be that hard, but it is. To get people to realize, like, yeah, they can learn just as quickly as the guys, if not quicker. If you give them the opportunities, the tools are there. It's just like, yeah, like, I don't know. But it's crazy that it took this long, but now women are, again, like, Evolution was the highest rated PLE they had all year last year, and it superseded the rating on every people who rated it higher than WrestleMania. And I'm like, because it was that good a show, A to Z. I literally said it was a perfect PLE, and I'm like, that's not just because of the talent. It's because it was the talent, it was the show, it was the matches, it literally had a little bit of everything for everyone, and it was like, it's like, yeah, but it didn't have any men's stars. I'm like, it didn't fucking need them. That's the point. That's the whole point. I'm like, but I'm just rambling at this point. My whole thing of it is AJ, I don't even think AJ understood what she started, but she was inspired by Lita. And like, you've seen the videos where they inspire each other. Like, you've seen like AJ when she was little meeting Little and she met Lita, she started crying. And then like when Roxanne Perez met AJ, she started crying. And it's just like, it's like a pattern. It happens where, you know, you inspire the next generation to be better than you were and give the opportunities that you were. And I'm like, that's cool that it's truly like a storytelling thing of like, it's not even stories, it's just real life. I love that. And like I said, I can't wait to see what AJ's going to do next with this title, what they're going to do with her. Hopefully they use her proper, but time will tell. I'm just curious to see what kind of matches they're going to have. And I'm really excited to see what she's going to do at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we'll see who challenges her and everything.